What is going on, y'all? Happy Friday to y'all. Kind of an interesting time to be streaming, but uh, given that there's 4 games tomorrow, and I don't know what exactly I'm going to be doing with my family tomorrow. Might be going to the zoo, might just be hanging out. I wasn't sure if I had time to do a live stream, so figured I would do it today. And you can always catch it on YouTube or here as well if you want to follow me on X. My live streams will always be posted there. So I'm going to jump into the slate. As I always do, though, just as a reminder, I have potential assist data. I'm the only one who has potential assist data. I track every single game, track every single potential assist. I have all that data linked into my Discord that you can check out, Parlay Ole Bets. So that's wap.com/parlay-ole-bets. We are on a great run in August. We have a great team getting you ramped up for football. I do WNBA and NFL. We got Logan, Log Flocks, who does money lines and spreads for college football, for NFL, for MLB, for NBA, that kind of stuff. And then we have Dare, otherwise known as Dame as well. He does NFL and NBA and the W. And then, of course, we have Wildan, who does a phenomenal job with college football, giving you a lot of college props. College money lines, etc. And then last but not least, unnamed Ryan. He's one of my best friends from college. He's the one who I actually started the Discord with. He does soccer and does a phenomenal job there, giving you money lines mostly with a few props here and there. But he's been doing really well since he came out of retirement to join the Discord and help with some of the soccer plays. So really excited to talk today, though. A lot of stuff on the slate for tomorrow. I really, really like this slate a lot. It is one that I got very excited about. Definitely went pretty big on the units for tomorrow, more so than I typically would like to. I know there's a Fever game coming up in a few minutes, so I'm just going to give a quick free play here. And I see a comment. Let me see this real quick. Oh, heck yeah. Definitely watching the Hawkeyes. I'm going to be watching at a buddy's house tomorrow. My kiddo is absolutely pumped. Super excited for Iowa football. As you can see, big Hawkeye fan in the back as well. Super pumped though. Go Hawks, baby. I think we have a good team this year. Yeah, for the Fever real quick, a couple things I like in this game if you haven't placed any bets yet. I love Kelsey Mitchell points. I love Kelsey Plum points. Aaliyah Boston PRA. I got her in at 27.5 PRA. I think it's now at like 30. So the Discord is getting a lot of value there. Those are probably my 3 biggest ones. I like Julie Alamond assist, Rakia Jackson threes. Cameron Brink can be a sneaky pick here and there. Honestly, this game should be very high scoring, so I think you can pretty much take your pick and you're probably going to hit someone in this game. So it should be a lot of fun. I'll be watching that game here in a bit on Friday night. So tomorrow we have a couple fun games. We have the Lynx versus the Sun, and I'll be honest, I was not really excited about breaking this game down. I've just been hurt so many times by watching the Sun and betting on them based off what I believe they should do. Primarily lately, it's been with Bria Hartley and Layla Khan. Bria Hartley should not be facilitating the basketball for the Sun. You have a young, dynamic point guard who can score, can dish it. Give her the freaking ball. Your team's horrible. Just give her the ball. Why are you letting Bria Hartley bring the ball up nightly? Anyways, I basically wrote that whole team off. And then Bria Hartley got listed as doubtful. So you better freaking believe I am on Layla Lacan in this game. I love her PA. I love her assist. It is an incredibly difficult matchup. I want to be very clear there. But when you have the usage she has without Bria Hartley on the court, you have to take it. Those PA numbers without Bria Hartley, just absolutely phenomenal. Her and Marina are the only ones who can really create their own shot, and Marina's shot looks trash. There was a floater in the paint last game where there was just no touch at all. It just banged right off the backboard. The nice thing about Layla is that if she's not scoring, she's getting the ball at Tina Charles. But I think Tina has a decent matchup here as well. The Lynx struggle a little bit in the paint. That is the one area where I would say they do struggle. Getting those post-up moves from Tina can be an opportunity there. This should be a easy game for the Lynx to take care of. Obviously, the Lynx are 2-0 in the season versus the Sun. The last time these teams faced, Minnesota won by 39. The Sun have played a lot better as of recent. They played a lot scrappier. Defensively, they've been a lot better. With Bria Hartley out, you're likely seeing Snyder Rivers get the start as well. So you're going to see a strong defensive effort from those two. The other one I want to call out is that Olivia Nelson-Ododa is also listed as questionable, and if she's out, Anissa Morrow is going to be a great pick there. I've actually already took her rebounds line for that game. The last time she played the Lynx, she had 11 boards. It's not just a coincidence. And watching that game back, well, first off, the Lynx allow a lot of rebounds to opponents as well. So they allow the third most rebounds to bigs over the last 10 games. But when I watched that game back to see why did Anissa Morrow have 11 rebounds, it's pretty clear. She basically had Alana Smith. So Tina Charles was taking Fee and bodying her up. She had Alana Smith, and she was sagging off Alana Smith as if Alana Smith did not exist. And she was basically saying, you can shoot the three if you want. I really don't care. And we've seen her do this in other games as well. She's essentially sagging off the shooting big and being willing to provide that paint help. And that puts her in the paint on almost every single play. So unless the ball's in Alana's hands, and it's not in Alana's hands often, then Morrow is at least a foot away from the restricted zone, almost at all times. Obviously given the reason of the seconds, but that is a good opportunity for her to get a lot of boards here, on top of the fact that she is a very strong rebounder. She has back-to-back double-doubles and has seen 24 minutes plus in her last 4 games. And now with Olivia possibly not playing, that ceiling or that floor is only going to be higher for Anissa Morrow coming into this game. Another play I like is Courtney Williams. The Sun are allowing the most rebounds to guards in the last 10 games. They also allow a ton of assists. And Courtney had 15 PAs last game and 16 versus the Sun earlier. When you look at this, Fee has a good matchup. She just came off a horrible shooting performance. I took her over. She had 23 shots, and she scored just 18 points. She has literally hit her point line every single time she scored or shot 21-plus attempts. Not in the game I take her, which is fine. But the Sun are allowing athletic bigs to score pretty easily on them, like Asia Wilson, Derek Hamby, even Tattoo. They all have a similar archetype, which is that spot-up shooter in the restricted zone area. This is really what Fee can do. And I think she has a good matchup here. Courtney will feed the heck out of Fee. And on top of that, the Sun like to play a lot of traps. I don't know if you've noticed this the last couple of games, but they really like to trap pretty heavy. And then Layla and Sanaya are just good defenders in general, so you're not going to get as many clean open looks for Courtney. You're going to get a lot more passes out to either Kayla McBride or to a Fee. And I also think Kayla has a decent opportunity here as well. So for this game, I like Layla just because of the opportunities. I like Courtney, RA. I like beat points and the Misa boards. So that's my thoughts on that quick game. Jumping into Mystics Valks, I'm going to scroll down my notes here. Jumping into the Mystics Valks, this is kind of an ugly game, but there's a lot of opportunity depending on how you play the injury card, especially on the Valks side. So we have seen Veronica Burton put up 20-plus PAs the last 3 games, but it's important to note that she's doing this because Tiffany Hayes hasn't really been there, Carla Leedy hasn't been there, Cecilia hasn't been there, and Cecilia was really eating into her numbers for a bit there. Tiffany and Carla were listed as questionable today. That is a little bit concerning. They were at practice, so was Monique Billings, but they were listed as questionable. Nikase is more than willing to play it slow and make sure her team members are healthy. So I wouldn't be surprised to see only one of them play in this game. And either way, one or both of them being out is just superb for a Veronica Burton usage, specifically in the assist department and then also in the RA department. If they don't play, I will probably also try to hammer her assist line because that's just it'll be too low no matter what it is. She's going to get 24 to 25 potential assists if both of those ladies are not playing in this game. Monique Billings, I thought would play. She is listed out. The Valks have struggled a little bit in the rebounding department. So without Monique Billings there, a Kiki rebound line is not a bad look here. I thought Monique would play, and she would have been a great asset for this game. The Mystics like to put a lot of high traps on, but they allow a lot of one-on-ones and a lot of like free rolling on a pick and roll woman, which gives some opportunities for Monique Billings. They don't really have that type of a big right now. Alani Rupert is fine. She likes to kind of sit on the 3 line. That can be an opportunity there. She operates in that pick and roll, but that's not really her specialty there. And then the last thing I want to call out for this game is the fact of the Valkyries, and I've mentioned this every single time I talk about them, but They have a very specific style of basketball. They collapse heavy on the bigs, and they allow a ton of threes. The problem is you can't just willy-nilly take whoever shoots threes. Like if you just say they allow a ton of threes, you're probably thinking Citron. But what they do is very specifically they latch onto one player and they're usually the best shooter, and then they allow that number 2 or number 3 person to have a lot of open looks. So that number 2 or number 3 defender, they are sagging off into the paint anytime the ball gets into that paint area or at the nail. So when you look at this, I've had some pretty good success in picking out who's going to get high volume. Unfortunately, the success within that volume has been pretty bad, but maybe this is the time. The only problem is we're probably not going to get a 3-line here, and the Mystics kind of don't have any 3 shooters. They're not really a good 3-point shooting team. JC Sheldon was brought over to help with that. She's been injured. So what I look at here is that Citrona is going to get a lot of coverage, probably a lot of blanket coverage by Veronica Burton, and she's been held pretty much in check. So she's shot 3 of 11, 6 of 14, and 4 of 13 in her 3 games versus the Valkyries, and that's by design. They really target that best player. They take them out of the game. What that means, though, is that that's going to open up the game for Sug Sutton, and she is certainly not afraid to shoot the ball. She averages 3 threes a game, but took 5 the last time the Valks played them. And she put up 15 the last time as well. So if I get a plus money 10 and a solid 15 at like plus 700, you better believe I am taking that in this game. In fact, I'm going to check real quick. I've been looking literally all day for a Sutton line. I have not gotten anything yet. But that's how I'm looking at this Valks Mystics game. I like Veronica Burton. I have laddered her RA in a couple of different ways. So I think there's a lot of cool opportunities there. I like Sug's points. She's still not up here. And if Tiffany and Carla are out, run to the books and take the assist line for Veronica, because that is going to be heavy. Even a poor shooting night for the Valks should convert 8 assists of her 27 PAs. That is just how it's going to be. There's literally no one else to play behind her. So, and then also a sneaky pick is a Kiki double-double here, given the fact that the Valks don't have a lot of bigs, and with Monique Billings out, I think you'd probably get a 10-board game. Jumping into the third game, we got the Sky versus the Storm. This game is one that I am very excited about. There's a couple matchups I think are really advantageous from a bettor's perspective that maybe are a little bit sneaky. And I'm going to start with the sneakiest one from my perspective. I've been on this twice, and it hasn't worked, but the read was there, the PAs were there, the shot attempts were there, and that is Gabby Williams. Gabby thrives against teams who struggle in transition. The Sky are one of the worst teams in transition, and Gabby is averaging legitimately over 2 PAs per game more against bottom 4 transition teams than against transition teams that are in that top 8 or top 9. She's also had 4 boards in each game against the Sky, and her shooting goes up drastically against teams that are horrible in transition. With her specifically, her line has been listed at 3.5. If you're looking at 11 or 12 PAs and a conversion rate of 40 or 50%, 45-ish%, 3.5 is way too low. So I'm going to be taking Gabby Williams 3.5 whenever we get that line anywhere on a normal book. But I really, really like that look here. I also like Skylar in this game. The pick and roll is an area where the Sky have just been absolutely burnt. Skylar's had a lot of success here. But what I like about Skylar's matchup is the fact that the Sky in the pick and roll drop their bigs, and they do not aggressively pursue the 3-point shooter. It almost looks as if they are scared to get driven on, and so they play pretty conservatively, and that actually allows Skylar a lot of open looks from 3, and she's hit 3 threes in her last 2 games versus them. And in those cases, she's also gone 21 points and 24 points. So for me, a 13.5-point line was a no-brainer for me. She's going to get a lot of looks. They also like to give up that midi, and Skylar gets aggressive. She will have no problem getting up 10 or 12 shots in this game and getting her to that 13.5-point line. Even in a bad game, I wouldn't be surprised here. But she gets 44% of her production as a pick-and-roll ball handler and in transition. Again, where the Sky are absolutely horrible against. So a couple other things here. The Storm have improved slightly over the last 10 games, but they are still below average. They are allowing the second most rebounds over the last 10 games and the third most points in the paint. So what that generally means is bigs are going to take advantage of that. That is what we've been playing for the last couple of games. Aaliyah Boston had a great game. Hamby had a solid game. And here, it could be Angel Reese. It could be Camila Cardoso. It probably is both, to be honest. Both of them have fantastic matchups here. The one thing I want to call out, though, I do get worried about Angel's rebounds because she's going to be guarding Nneka, and Nneka's going to be on the three-point line. So she's going to be away from the basket, whereas Cardoso, who's guarding Ezzy, has a good chance to pull down a lot of rebounds in this game. So just keep that in mind. I mean, Angel can always get 15 rebounds anytime because she's just so aggressive and so has so much hustle in her game. But I don't like her rebounds as much here. I do like, honestly, all of their assists. I like Atkins, Cardoso, and Angel. Their PA numbers have been strong. Atkins gives a lot of assists to Angel and Cardoso, so that could be an opportunity there. But the Storm don't allow a ton of PAs to guard, so that's always a concern. But something I'll be looking at. Cardoso is getting priced really well at a very plus money 3.5, given the fact that she's had 8.2 PAs over her last 5 games on average. And she's done a really good job, especially against the Storm last time. Whenever she gets the ball in the paint, she would draw a double team, and she was able to kick it off to Angel or kick it out to a three-point shooter. So I really liked how she looked in that game. Malongo was listed questionable. That was another area I was going to target. In their last 2 games versus the Sky, she scored 13 and 14 in just 17 and 19 minutes. Either way, the Sky do struggle against the pick and roll, as I mentioned, and so that roll woman has a lot of success here as well. That's where Malonga gets a lot of points. If not Malonga, it's going to be Nneka. So if you are interested in taking a point line here, I'd probably look at Nneka in this game. And then finally, jumping into the Liberty versus the Mercury, this is going to be a huge matchup because it's 2 teams who have a lot of stake here in the playoff race, and I'm hoping we get a fully loaded Liberty squad. So the last game, it was basically a skeleton crew playing for the Liberty, and they were able to take care of business against the Mystics. John Kell was out, Sabrina was out, Natasha was out. Coming into this game, they're all listed as questionable. I do think we see at least 2 of them play, if not all 3. This is just such a big game. It's tough to not want to put your stars in here. I'm personally hoping that. I think John Kell has a fantastic matchup here in the paint, scoring-wise and rebounding-wise. The Mercury are the 4th worst rebounding team in the league. They allow the most points in the paint to forwards over the last 10 games as well. Athletics who can get in transition and also can operate in the post-up also are going to have a lot of success here. So you think of John Kell, you think of Stewie. When listening to John Kell's interviews and post-game, one of the things she's mentioned is that if she gets a double-double, the team wins. And so rebounding-wise, that's going to be huge. It's been an emphasis for her the last couple of games. So a double-double look is also not bad as well. I think it was like plus 145 last I saw. But I really liked her PR. I got that at 22.5, I believe. Or might have been 23.5, actually. A couple things here, though. Natasha Cloud used to play for the Mercury. She hasn't had the best of showings from a scoring perspective against them, but she did put up 20 PAs in the game against them once, and that happened to be a game where she had, well, John Kell was only there for a few minutes, but all of the stars on the team, and I think that's one important thing here. So in games where where it's been Sabrina, Natasha, John Kell, and Stewie, which has only been legitimately 5 games. Let me see, 5 games and 4 full games total. She has 17, 10, 19, 9, and 20 PAs. So I think Cloud Assist is a really cool look here if she is playing in this game, trying to get her stars involved. That is where I would probably target at. On the other side, the Liberty are also not much better at defending in the paint. They're actually pretty bad. They're allowing the 4th most rebounds to forwards. They also rank bottom half in the league in points in the paint allowed and points to forwards overall. Alyssa Thomas has had a bunch of success in this matchup, scoring 18, 17, and 20 points against the Liberty. And you better believe she's going to do whatever it takes to win this game, as she always does. But if those shots aren't falling, she's going to drive to the basket. She's going to get her buckets here. I think the nice thing is she's almost always guaranteed to get 10, because here's the thing. If her shooters are draining shots, she's going to get 10 assists. She'll have the hustle to get 10 boards, and she's always going to shoot for that 10 points. If they're not draining shots, she will take the ball to the basket if she needs to. And so you have you're at least getting that 4 of 10, and then you make 1 or 2 extra, you're at 14, 14 and a half. So I like that point line for her, especially in this game where I think she has a really good scoring opportunity. When she gets the ball in transition, she is a freaking freight train. And so that's really cool to see her kind of run on the court, take down the Liberty here. But what I also noticed on tape for the last game was that the Liberty, oftentimes Alyssa would pass the ball in the low post to either Bonner, who I think I saw Mac got a one or two, Monique had a couple, and what was happening was John Kell was following the ball and leaving Alyssa wide open, and I thought that was a really interesting. I'm hoping it's miscommunication, but if that is how they truly want to play and trap those other players, great. That is just more open opportunities for Alyssa, especially in the pick and roll as well, where she would operate and then roll out afterwards off the handoff. And Jonquel was staying with the person moving out of the ball. So giving a lot of opportunities there for Alyssa Thomas to score, which I really liked. Stewie got up to 24 minutes. I think we could see in a close game, 24 to 27 minutes in this game. So her props are still kind of catching up here, but I do like Stewie's involvement so far in the offense. And then on the flip side, Emma has been seeing a pretty big minutes decrease. So as Stewie increases, we're seeing Emma drop. I think she got 17 minutes the last game. For me personally, she's probably slotted in that 15 to 17 minute range as Stewie increases her minutes, as Jonquel stays healthy. And the final thing, and it's just an interesting point, I bet on Sabrina several times going into her last couple of games prior to Stewie joining. And I kept getting comments of Sabrina's horrible without Stewie. And I just wanted to check on that. So I did some research, and Sabrina's usage and her field goal attempts are virtually the same, whether Stewie is in or out of the lineup. And her field goal percentage is, I'm not kidding you, exactly the same with and without Stewie in the lineup. She did have 29 in this last matchup versus the Mercury, but she also had 11 three-point attempts. And honestly, a lot of her shots were coming from defensive miscommunications. And if you remember, this was mid-July. The Mercury defense was really struggling, especially with Bonner kind of in the mix, trying to figure out what the heck they were doing. They have since gotten a lot better. They are the second best defensive net rating team over the last 10 games. So that's what I got for you. I like Angel in this game a lot. I like Cloud Assist. I like Jonquel. I think Cardoso could have a really good game. Just this slate in general, I think, is very, very, very strong from a straights perspective. There's a few ladders I like, but overall, some really nice mixing and matching if you want to do some parlay work too. So that's what I got for you. Wanted to let you all know as well that we're going to try to do some more live streaming going forward. So we've got the YouTube channel set up. We're going to be doing live streaming for NFL, for college football, for basketball, everything you can think of. We're going to try to have almost a live show almost every single night or day for you, kind of breaking down upcoming slates. So if there's additional content you would like to see, just let me know. Let me know what you want to listen to, watch, whatever it might be. Let me know if you have any feedback as well, so we can continue to improve this experience for y'all. The whole goal is just to get you the information you need so you can gamble responsibly. And if you do like the work and you're like, hey, I don't have the time, but I like listening to this guy, which that's fine. That's cool. I'm shocked. My wife doesn't like listening to me all the time, but here we are. Check out the Discord, please. WAP.com/parlay-olay-bets. We pride ourselves on honesty and transparency and the integrity of the product, giving you wins while also showing everything that's happening, wins, losses, everything in between. We are as transparent as you can possibly find in the gambling Discord world. So check us out if you want. Otherwise, I hope you all have a fantastic Friday night. I will talk to you all later and have a great weekend. Bye, y'all.